Madam President, last Thursday, Democrats released their plan for a Green New Deal. Although plan might be a bit of a stretch, it's more like a wish list. Because while Democrats announced their desired outcomes, like getting rid of fossil fuels or upgrading every single building in the United States, they provided no details at all about how to get there. In particular, they failed to provide any details on how to pay for the staggering costs of what they're proposing to do. Take just one provision of the Democrats' green wish list: upgrading all existing buildings in the United States and building new buildings to achieve maximum energy efficiency, water efficiency, safety, affordability, comfort, and durability, including through electrification. That's a direct quote from the so-called plan. Upgrading all existing buildings. All existing buildings. Well, Madam President, the cost of that provision alone is practically inconceivable. But that's just a small fraction of what the Democrats want to do. Their wish list also includes, and I quote again, meeting 100% of the power demand in the United States through clean, renewable, and zero-emission energy sources, including by dramatically expanding and upgrading renewable power sources and by deploying new capacity, overhauling transportation systems in the United States to remove pollution and greenhouse gas emissions from the transportation sector as much as is technologically feasible, end quote, and much, much more. And they don't limit themselves to energy initiatives either. They also announced that a Green New Deal must include guaranteeing every person in the United States a job, health care, paid vacations, and more. Madam President, it's possible that the reason the Democrats didn't provide any details about how to pay for their plan is because they knew that outlining the actual cost would sink their plan from the very beginning. I cannot even imagine the staggering amount of money that would be required to pay for the ideas on their wish list. And that money will come from the pockets of the American people. Like other socialist fantasies, this is not a plan that can be paid for by merely taking money from the rich. Actually implementing this so-called Green New Deal would involve taking money from working families, and not a little bit of money either. Madam President, before the introduction of last week's absurd resolution, the Green New Deal was modeled and projected to cost American families up to $3,800 a year in higher energy bills. $3,800 a year in higher energy costs would be hard enough for most working families that I meet. But that would be just the tip of the iceberg under the Democrats' plan. Because, of course, if your electricity costs are higher, then so are your business's electricity costs, and your doctor's electricity costs, and the electricity costs at neighborhood restaurants, and the electricity costs at your gym. And all of these places are going to charge more money to cover their cost increases. And so you're going to be paying more in electric bills and more on everything else as well. And then there's the fact that the government won't be able to pay for a quarter of what is outlined in the Green New Deal without raising your taxes by a lot. Madam President, there's no question that socialist fantasies sound nice. They always do, until they end up victimizing the very people that they're meant to help. As Ronald Reagan is reported to have said, and I quote, "Socialism only works in two places, heaven where they don't need it and in hell where they already have it." Democrats' gauzy, nebulous proposal may sound appealing on the surface, but it would devastate our economy and be paid for on the backs of working families in this country. The Green New Deal would be a very bad deal for the American people.